My video for February the 13th, 2020 is number 3365. The title is Not Giving Up on the American Dream. Okay, I admit it yet again. I am an idealist. Maybe Robert Fulghum, author of All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten, was right. Maybe all we really need to know about how to live and what to do and how to be is as simple as remembering the basic life lessons we were taught as children. What were those lessons? Fulghum reminds us: share everything, play fair, don't hit people, put things back where you found them, clean up your own mess, don't take things that aren't yours, say you're sorry when you hurt somebody. When you go into the world, go out into the world, watch out for traffic, hold hands, and stick together. Goldfish and hamsters and white mice, and even the little seed in the styrofoam cup, they all die. So do we. And then remember the Dick and Jane books, and the first word you learned, the biggest word of all: look. Everything you need to know is in there somewhere. The golden rule, and love, and basic sanitation, ecology and politics, and equality and sane living. Take any one of those items and extrapolate it into sophisticated adult terms and apply it to your family life or your work or your government or your world, and it holds true and clear and firm. Think about what a better world it would be if we all, the whole world, had cookies and milk about 3 o'clock every afternoon, and then lay down with our blankies for a cup, or for a nap, rather, I'm sorry. Or if all governments had as basic policy to always put things back where they found them and clean up their own mess. And it is still true, no matter how old you are, when you go out into the world, it is best to hold hands and stick together. Oh, yeah, that's stuff from John Whitehead in We're All in This Together, A Case for Not Giving Up on the American Dream. And he started off the article with a quote from Benjamin Franklin: "We must indeed all hang together, or assuredly we shall all hang separately." And the article continues, and I'm reading more of this than I normally would in most of my videos. But he says, listen, we don't have to agree about everything. We don't even have to agree about most things. We don't have to love each other. We don't even have to like each other. And we certainly don't need to think alike or dress alike or worship alike or vote alike or love alike. But if this experiment in freedom is to succeed, and there are some days the outlook is decidedly grim, then we've got to find some way of relating to one another that is not toxic or partisan or hateful or so self-righteous that we're doomed to failure before we even start. These are just basic, simple things. As he says, they're things we learned in kindergarten. Now, I don't know if every nation on earth even has kindergarten, but here in the United States, kindergarten is the introduction to the school system. Usually most kids, when they're 5 years old here, or in my case, because my birthday's in October, anybody that was born before Halloween started school when they were still 4, but they wouldn't turn 5 until November. So I started school when I was 4 years old. Most kids start when they're 5. I started at 4. Anyway, these are basic lessons. These are life principles that I still think are relevant, but they're also ignored in human culture. in the United States, which has been at war all of our existence. First, we were at war with Britain trying to gain our independence, and I totally agree with what we wanted. We wanted other nations to stay out of our affairs and let us self-govern. Let us make our own decisions and not have something imposed upon us by some uh, king or queen or a tyrant or a dictator or whatever. We wanted to make our own decisions, live our own lives, and basically be left alone as long as we didn't hurt anybody, as long as we kept the basic rules, which he outlined very, very well in his article, and which I reiterated at the as the introduction to this article or this video. Uh, we have to get it right. But how do we get it right when all we do is butt heads with each other? With all my heart, I have lived my whole life trying to do the right thing, trying to be an example. I have tried my best to look at other points of view, to think outside the box, to examine perspectives that other people have, not just my own perspective, but look at where other people are. And I don't think we do that. I think we live in a culture, in a society, on a planet where we've gone crazy because our leaders are insane. That breaks my heart to keep saying that. But I don't see a lot of sanity at the highest levels of what we call government or leadership in our businesses and our corporate stuff. And again, the corporation to me is the biggest fraud ever perpetuated on humanity. I mean, where we are demoted from being human, our human values are stripped away, and everything is just uh, whatever is most convenient now in the present moment, and no concept of a continuity, no concept of how it's going to affect someone else, and no value system where we allow people to be free to express themselves and to live their lives as they see fit. Again, the only limitation is not hurting someone else. And when you do hurt someone else, and oftentimes that happens without even intending it to happen. When your children, uh, you know, yeah, when your children tempers can flare up. When you lose, you can lose your temper. When you lose a game, you can lose your temper. Uh, and you say, I'm sorry. You act with politeness. You treat people with courtesy. As I've said in other videos, I still open doors for people uh, when they're getting in and out of my car. uh, because that's how I was taught. I was taught courtesy. I was taught the things early on in life that still hold true now when I'm in my 70s. And I wish we could all get this. It sounds so simple, but yet, as intelligent as we think we are and claim to be, we are really quite stupid as a human race. We still buy into the chicanery of those who control the money system and want everybody on the same page, and they're trying to create uh, a blueprint that everybody has to fall within the parameters of. And there's very little freedom allowed: freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of political viewpoints, because we've forgotten the basic rules that some of us anyway learned as children. Thank you folks for listening, and once again, I do appreciate the comments. Namaste.